I'm Kate Andrews, and here's a look at what is going on this week in the news. And we begin in news from around the country. Further details on Pope Francis's first trip to the U.S. as pontiff have been announced. Rome Reports has more.
Pope Francis is scheduled to meet with President Barack Obama on Wednesday, September 23rd in the White House. It's part of the Pope's first visit to the U.S., where he will lead the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia. He also plans to visit the UN headquarters in New York City and address Congress in Washington, D.C. Through a statement, the White House stated that both leaders will continue to address their, quote, shared values, including caring for the marginalized and poor, advancing economic opportunity, protecting religious minorities, and religious freedom around the world. This will not be the first time the Pope meets with President Obama. They first met back in March 2014 in the Vatican's Apostolic Palace.
Pope Francis will be the first pope to address a joint meeting of Congress. Staying with news from around the country, in Utah, Republican Governor Gary Herbert signed into law a bill that reinstates execution by firing squad for those convicted of a capital crime. The measure will be used as a backup method if the drugs used in lethal injection are not available. There is a shortage of lethal drugs for executions, and their use has become more controversial after a botched execution in Oklahoma last year. Utah is now the only state that has the firing squad as a method of execution. Salt Lake City Bishop John Wester said that by reinstating the use of a firing squad, it seems as if government leaders have substituted state legislation for the law of God. The bishop said that no human law can trump God's law. In news from the Vatican, Pope Francis commemorated the Feast of the Annunciation during his weekly general audience. Catholic News Service has more from St. Peter's Square.
Il 25 marzo, solennità dell'Annunciazione, in molti paesi si celebra la giornata per la vita. Per questo 20 anni fa San Giovanni Paolo II in questa data firmò l'enciclica Evangelium Vitae. Nella Evangelium Vitae la famiglia occupa un posto centrale, in quanto è il grembo della vita umana. La parola del mio venerato predecessore ci ricorda che la coppia umana è stata benedetta da Dio fin dal principio per formare una comunità di amore e di vita, a cui è affidata la missione della procreazione. La Chiesa come madre non abbandona mai la famiglia, anche quando essa è avvilita, ferita e in tanti modi mortificata, neppure quando cade nel peccato oppure si allontana dalla Chiesa. Sempre farà di tutto per cercare di curarla e di guarirla, di invitarla a conversione e di riconciliarla con il Signore.
Following the general audience, Pope Francis met with the brother of a British aid worker who was beheaded by members of the so-called Islamic State in Syria in September. The Pope told Michael Haynes that he prayed for his late brother, David, for his whole family, and for their work of fighting the Christian-Muslim tension sown by the Islamic State rebels. After the meeting, Haynes spoke with Vatican Radio. He said that Islam, like many other faiths, is about understanding and tolerance. But he said what the rebels are doing, including what they did to his brother, is using the religion of Islam for justifying their actions, and it's wrong. In news from around the world, the remains of England's King Richard III were given a Catholic burial March 26th, 530 years after he was slain in battle and dumped in a humble grave. Catholic News Service has more.
It's indescribable. Indescribable to, I don't know, to know what he's been in the dirt for 500 years. And here he is being almost worshipped by millions of people around the world. It's indescribable.
It's the end of what's felt like at times quite a long journey, albeit a very exciting journey.
Richard III's a bit of a hero of mine. I think he's a much misunderstood king, and so I want to be part of the day and remember him in a way that's fitting for such a towering figure of English history.
That is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kate Andrews. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.